What it do? You are listening to the Chronic and Shank Variety Conversation podcast for winners and really cool people, where two brains from two different countries and zero filters collide in conversations that go wherever the topic takes us.
We're your hosts. I'm Shank.
And I'm Chronic. We have a variety of conversations about things that we love.
And we love to share it with all of you people out there.
So, lighters unite, tune in, and let's get into it, because if you're listening to this, you're already a winner and definitely really cool.
Today's topic is horror, both in movies and in other media, and what we enjoy about it or don't enjoy.
Before we get started, remember to slap that subscribe button like it owes you some money and show the like thumb some love.
Alright, Chronic, so as I said in the intro, we are going to be talking today about horror and all things spooky.
Spooky!
That's right, man. We both love horror franchises. We both love scary things and spooky things in media, both video games and TV shows and movies, that kind of stuff. But first, we're going to talk about what kind of horror do we enjoy, because there's such a wide variety out there. I think we should probably narrow it down for all the listeners at home about what kind of horror we like, because there's so many of them. It's like saying, what kind of beer do you like? I mean, for people that don't drink beer, they might be like, beer's beer. But if you do drink beer, you know, they're all very different. A Guinness, way different than an IPA, you know?
Absolutely.
So what is your favorite genre, or subgenre, I should say, of horror?
So definitely, I mean, the quick answer, and I've said this, prior episodes in terms of gaming and stuff, definitely goes directly to gaming in terms of horror, like what really attracts me in the horror genre.
Yep.
But I have talked about that. I have discussed that. So I'm going to put that to the side. If you guys want to see more be discussed about, we'll get more into the video game horror throughout this episode, but I have already talked about that once before. So I'm going to kind of skip past that. And obviously it goes into movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think you were getting at, that there's many different kind of horror aspects, and it's in media, especially.
So I mean, even
movies.
let's narrow it down to just like, if we're talking movies or visual mediums, like not games, just a visual medium, like either a TV show or a movie, some kind of film, I should say. What would be your favorite kind of horror in that genre, like in that medium?
Honestly, so it goes kind of back and forth for me. It depends on how I'm feeling in terms of horror. Like I'm a sucker for Paranormal Activity style movies. Like my favorite movie in that kind of realm of like demons and poltergeists and whatnot is definitely the very first Conjuring movie. I thought that movie very much so nailed and reinvented that horror feeling. James Wan, fantastic director when it comes to horror. That's like his thing. We all know this for sure.
Yep.
And you can tell that really resonates through the Conjuring franchise and even down to the Annabelle movies. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of the Annabelle series, it wasn't really my thing, or even really the Nun wasn't my thing, honestly. But the Conjuring franchise, 100%, that I love. I think they did that great. I think they really reinvented the ghost horror idea, because it got very outdone and cliche, and we've seen it before. Not really scary anymore. And James Wan really took a twist and said, you know what, let's make it like horrifying, let's make it more suspenseful. And he did what is a good talking point to get into. Is my second, if I'm feeling this way, is thriller. So ones where you're like running from the bad guy, it's a giant monster chasing you, like the Alien franchise or the Predator movies. Like that kind of style, where you're always on your toes, like, oh, he's gonna get you, shit, even down to like the suspenseful of like the horror aspects of like the Jurassic Park movies.
Like the more of like the thriller, the thriller kind of aspects. The like
that, like where you get your heart
edge
going.
of your seat, something is 100%. Happening.
100%.
Like, and I think what Wan did really well with the Conjuring movies, especially, was the fact that he kind of grounded it. And I hate saying this, but in the air quotes real world, because he based it around the Warrens, which are
which was a real story, real documented story.
We're doing real in big giant fucking quotation marks, because they were massive scam artists. Like it's even been proven later in their lives, when they were both older and everything else, that like there were like revealing documents and everything like that. They faked literally everything they did their entire career. But what he did was, he took their fictionalized stories, like the bullshit that they came up with, and he made it scary. You know what I mean? Because in the world of Conjuring, it's real. Like, like in the world of the Conjuring, and in his fictionalized retelling of events, it's actually real. Like the things that
Right.
happen, the paranormal
Right.
events.
And the
Like,
aspects of what happened in that
and so it's
film,
like rooted in
were
the real documents.
dramatized,
So yeah,
you
so you
know.
can kind of be like, these were real people, and these are the stories that they told, and they were ghost hunters and spiritualists and that kind of thing and everything else. That's what their con that they ran. But at the same time, like they were very, very popular, and they had a lot of stories, and they actually helped create what we see as ghosts now. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
what
right.
we actually see as like basically the way we view spirits and ghosts, and like they created a lot of those tropes that we take for granted now, like ghosts like bumping for like flipping furniture around, stacking furniture, making walls bleed, ghosts being able to like leave behind an ectoplasm like a goo, that kind of stuff. They helped kind of lay that foundation down, and what he did was go, wow, these stories, even though they are con artists and they're like, that kind of thing, they're frauds, like their stories are spooky, they're scary, right? And that's how they roped people in, because they made people genuinely believe ghosts were real. And the Conjuring movies basically, like, really in that universe, they're real, and he did it in such an amazing way that it genuinely like made those movies scary. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
it's like there felt
right,
like there were real stakes, and the cinematography of the movies that he used. And I mean, like you said, Annabelle and the Nun and stuff like that. It got a little bit tired after a certain point.
right.
Like it seemed like almost kind of, but I mean, most movies do. It's like power
Yeah,
creep.
they go a little overboard,
Well, it's
like that.
power
That just
creep, right?
happens.
Because
Yeah.
if something crazy and exciting happens in this movie, when you make a sequel, you need to do something crazier and more exciting. And once you get 10 sequels down the road, like
You're
you've
like, ah,
got,
shit.
yeah, that power. It's like Goku.
Fast and the Furious. Anyways.
It's like Goku punching a hole through a sun god or something like that, right? Like
Yep, yep.
it's eventually you're gonna go from struggling to beat up people in a tournament to like beating up a god. And that's just because you have to, because if you're getting more exciting everything, But The
By the way, if
Conjuring
you hear
was,
explosions in my background, it is tomorrow is the 4th of July at the
oh yes.
date of this recording.
Yep.
So you're gonna hear some bombs bursting through air. So like
Yeah, and if you're
that's
yeah, and to all our American friends out there, happy when this episode comes out, happy belated
4th of
4th
July.
of
Yes.
July. I hope you and your family celebrated safely. Nobody blew up. If you got your hands blown off, comment down below or get someone to type for you
I'm
a
about to
comment.
say I don't know if they'll be able to use your voice. You
Yeah,
use
use
the
voice
voice
to
to
text.
text.
Yeah, use voice to
That's
text to comment down below if you blew your hands off on the 4th of July. This is just a public service announcement. Be careful around
yeah.
fireworks.
Just be careful.
But no, The Conjuring is it's really really good. And the cycle, like the like ghost movies, like I guess
Yes.
we could call them and lump them into that category, like the ghost type movies
Yes.
have always been really really fantastic. Like one of my first favorite horror movies, when I was like really really into it when I was younger, and I'm stoked because they're making a TV show about it now. They've got a show in development for it. Is 13 Ghosts. And 13 Ghosts is one of the most incredible horror movies ever made. It basically, like, the story is really, really original. The concept is really, really original. I mean, like, as far as horror movies go, and the acting was really good. The different types of ghosts they had in the movie was fantastic, and it was scary as hell. Like, some of the kills in that movie were gory as hell. Like, in one scene, a lawyer gets literally sliced in half, but it's not down, it's like long way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's crazy. It's wild. And so that movie, like 13 Ghosts, was probably my favorite, I guess, ghost type movie out there. I mean, there's like House on Haunted Hill and those ones from
Right.
back in
Right.
the day, which were also absolutely incredible, like examples of like a different take on the ghost story movie. Rather than family being haunted, weird things happen, family escapes narrowly. It's like it's got a different role on the trope, which is really, really good, and it gives it a fresh voice. But I always gravitated towards slashers. Give me
Right.
my
So
Friday the
that
13th.
thriller,
Yeah,
aspect.
give me my Friday the 13th. Give me my
Who's
and
your
this is
favorite?
I would have to say just for the lore alone and for like just the concept alone, Friday the 13th.
Jason.
I love Jason Voorhees. I love
That's respectable.
Well,
Very
and that's the
respectable.
thing too is then now there are going to be people out there that are like, man, those movies are filled with flaws in logic and blah 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 and like everything else and that kind of thing. They're like, oh, why is Jason weak to
Okay,
water in one movie
coming
but
from
in
a
another
trained
movie?
actor and an inspiring filmmaker, let me just tell you, for all the audience out there that criticizes these old movies because they're cliche, they look corny, if you were alive when that movie was released,
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
would not be saying that.
yeah,
We as a society and how
we're spoiled.
movies are today. Don't get me wrong. I love me some gore in movies. Everybody
Yeah.
does. Who doesn't?
Oh
You
yeah.
like to see some gore, but we are definitely oversaturated with
Yeah.
gore to the point that anything that's not showing somebody's head getting cut off, we're like,
Yeah.
that's, you know what I mean? So,
If you
like, you
don't
gotta
have
understand.
to if you don't have to render a scene in Blender for like 3 weeks in order in movie
Exactly.
production to make
Exactly.
that head crush look really really good, and you just kind of have to make it on the day of the shoot. I mean,
And if you don't believe me, go ahead and ask your grandparents, depending on how old you are, or your parents, depending on how old you are. Let them go watch a scene from The Boys with you, from the
mm,
Amazon show The Boys, and
that's
you
oh
tell
yeah.
me if they aren't used if they think that they're used to
Well, I
that.
mean, even look at the Saw franchise. Like it's like look at the like
Yeah,
it's like look
that's
at the Saw
honestly what
like
kind of where it started shifting.
yeah, and that's like and again that's another one of my favorite because like and I frequently
The lore in it's
mentioned
actually
the
great. I
well
can't
I
even lie.
frequently mentioned the
Yeah.
previous podcast that I had before that I was on that and we did an entire episode on the Saw franchise because it was right around the time that the movie Spiral had come out and from the Book of Saw.
Oh,
And
okay.
basically, it was right around the time that Spiral had come out, and both me and my former co-host Curtis, we were like totally obsessed with the Saw franchise, and we know the entire lore of that entire franchise from front to back, chronological order, all the events that happen,
I
like
heard one of
everything
the
about it.
movies almost ruined it though. And if you're as big of a fan as as you say you are, which there was, I forgot what movie it was, but it was something about the cop, I think, ended up being like a copycat killer.
That would be Saw X. But actually, no, that'd be Spiral. That would be Spiral because it was actually fun fact. The name of the person who was pretending to be the Jigsaw killer in the Book of Spiral was a police officer, and his name was Will Shank.
Will Shank. Yes, yes, Will. Yep.
His name was Will Shank, but not he didn't spell it the same as me. I'm Shank. He's Shank. Um, but um, But my name is Will Shank, which is really crazy. And I was blown away by that in that movie, which was like, oh my God. But people hated that because they were like, it's stupid. It has nothing to do with the original things. And they're like, and I think every movie realistically in the Saw franchise, people constantly, whenever a new one came out, they were like, oh, you're just beating a dead horse. Why would you keep going with this? This is stupid. But they really did develop the lore. And people say they're like, oh, they were flying by the seat of their pants, making up the lore as they went along. But there are so many good intellectual properties where they did that. Like they did that with fucking Star Wars for Christ's sake, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But it's the same idea where with the Saw franchise, I think every time a new Saw movie came out, people would say, "Oh man, that ruined the franchise. That's stupid. That ruined the franchise." But it's because they didn't want or they had an idea in their mind of what the franchise was that wasn't the idea that the
Well, let's be
creators of the
honest. Like
franchise had.
nobody like, and with a movie and a franchise like Saw, it has that room to change the
Yeah.
story. It has that room to change it up. You know what I mean? It's Saw almost honestly. If Saw didn't come out when it did, I think it would have, and it was, the idea of it came up in today's modern media and
Hmm.
and movies and stuff like that. I think it honestly would probably be like an Amazon Prime series.
Yeah, more than likely. More than likely.
I think it would be,
I wouldn't be shocked if they have something in development for the future for
and I'd
Saw.
be down for that
I
because
would
there
watch it.
with a franchise like that, you have so much lore you can dig
Yeah,
down and
I would
dive
watch it.
and yeah,
And like
100%. I would
and
too.
it's and what I liked about it the most was the fact that like by the third movie, the main character, the main killer was dead by the third movie.
Yes, that I did know.
And people were like, "Oh, this is stupid." And then the fourth movie came out and they were like, "How the hell is he alive?" And then you find out it's a prequel and you're like, "Holy fuck." And
Yep.
then they came out with the fifth movie, which was basically him and it showed like cuts from in between the other previous movies where he was training his proteges and it was all about that. And then there was the sixth one where again it was another prequel, but it was like basically and the way that they worked in the lore of him like just and his stupid broken ideology because I think that's what I like the most about serial killers is if you think too hard about it or in the movies that is serial killers in real
Right.
life are just fucked up human beings that are fucked
Right.
up. But
Right.
in movies at least
We're literally talking about mythical creatures here. You
yeah,
know what I
but
mean?
yeah, and in the movies, I think that it's like one of those things where the idea that you could easily poke stupid flaws in it. Like with Jason, you're like you could easily be like, okay, so why is he afraid of water? But in an entire in one of his movies, he literally clings on to the outside of a boat while it sails all the way to Manhattan, and he just doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like he just like,
Right. Right.
and like it's like he literally hangs onto the side
Which,
of a
by the
boat
way, those Jason
underwater.
spoof movies, I love.
Yeah,
I can't even
yeah.
lie. I
No,
can't
no,
even lie. I
it's great
love.
too because it is inherently dumb. Like there's something
But
inherently
they know
dumb
that. You
about
know
like
the
and
creators
you
know
know the
that.
creators kind of know. Like they're like we kind of know. We all as human beings understand that if someone who's young is like sprinting full speed in a straight line through the woods, like sprinting like a motherfucker, full tilt, and some big beef dude is like just walking and trudging and slowly trudging after them and not running at any point, not breaking into a run at any point. Like, unless we're led to
Right.
believe that as soon as the camera cuts, they start sprinting like Usain Bolt. But they don't. Like, Jason is walking and somehow catches up to this person and rams a machete through their forehead. Like, yeah, no sane person's going to ever believe that that situation would happen. If you're running away from Jason and he's not running after you, you're gonna get away. Like,
Right.
even if you trip and fall, you're gonna get up and run because you've got like a fucking 300-foot lead on him. But
Yep.
somehow he like teleports and we're supposed to just kind of like delete that out of our brains, and we do because it's entertaining. And it's like
Exactly.
and it,
Exactly. And
and
that
it's the same with with the Saw franchise. Like in that the killers are like basically stupid. Like, like they're like, why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense. And it's like, well, no shit, because it doesn't need to make sense. First and foremost, like his logic doesn't need to check out against real world logic because it's a movie. Like, like it's just suspending that disbelief for a moment and inserting yourself into this fantastical world where, like, this killer's like they're like, Saw killer's logic is so stupid, man. Like, he believes that if he puts these people in these traps and punishes them and they manage to escape, that they'll appreciate life more. Like, that's such a dumb thing. Why doesn't he just get them therapy? It's like, dude, first of all, he's crazy. Not supposed to make sense. Like it's like asking the crazy cat lady on the corner to not throw cats at people. They're not going to listen. They want to throw cats. But yeah, it's like it's so great. Like the Saw franchise, then like those stalker killer like type movies.
yep.
Hands down my favorite.
Yep.
Hands down my
Yeah.
favorite.
That's
Like
that's where that's like and in that aspect, that's where that's a good tie-in to the Alien franchise is one of my favorites.
mm,
It's I mean at certain points the franchise gets freaking weird, but
I still
we
think they shouldn't
you
have cut
know
out the part about the architect species being Jesus. Did you did you know
oh,
that
and
was
Prometheus.
Yeah, and Prometheus, yeah, because for all those buds listening at home, for all you people at home, if you don't know, with Prometheus, they originally because the architects or the first people or whatever,
Engineers.
the engineers, that's it. They were pissed off at humanity and they wanted to wipe out humanity. And in the movie, they never explain it. They don't explain why they were pissed. They're like, why would they make humanity and then fucking hate them? But apparently, there was a deleted scene where they had sent an engineer to Earth as like an emissary to try to like enlighten the human race, and the human race killed that engineer, like murdered that engineer, and it pissed them off, so they wanted to wipe out humanity, and it turns out that that engineer was fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I forgot whenever he was writing that, Ridley Scott was writing that, he was
Yeah.
that's
He was like
originally what he was gonna do.
the engineers sent an emissary to Earth, and that engineer was supposed to be Jesus, and they killed him, so it pissed off the engineer species to the point where they started developing a bioweapon to destroy or kill all the humans on Earth, which turns
AKA
out to be the
Alien.
xenomorph.
Yep.
Yeah, which the bioweapon was the alien. So it was like he was gonna tie it in so that the aliens were designed to kill humans because
Yep.
of Jesus. Like,
Yep.
and that's what I mean by the stories are fucking dumb sometimes, but they're so entertaining to watch.
Yep. Honestly, though, I am kind of glad they didn't go that route. I feel like they
Hmm.
probably would have got a little bit too much backlash for that,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and he
Yeah.
wanted to sell. Honestly,
Yeah.
I personally,
What do you mean?
I,
Jesus being an alien would sell huge.
yeah, amazingly,
Scientologists would fucking eat that up.
oh my God, dude. But But honestly, Prometheus is one of my least favorite out of the franchise. There
Yeah.
are certain
Oh yeah.
moments that I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like when
Yeah.
she's running from that engineer and that thing's like chasing her through the
Mm,
like, dude, that was
hmm
freaky. I ain't gonna lie.
hmm
That was like, yeah, that's pretty
Or
suspenseful.
the fucking when their buddy got fucking transformed, like when the fucking goo
Yeah,
got on Buddy and he
yeah.
fucking was jumping around inside the fucking mechanical bay and like grabbing the other dude and like
Ugh.
it was like
Oh man, it was
fucking
freaky.
freaky, man. Like it was amazing. It was so well done.
They did great things on it. I just think Ridley Scott was being like a tad bit too ambitious.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm like, you don't need to go that far. Like you
Well, I
know,
mean,
like
if they were gonna do the engineers and stuff like that, I think they definitely should have leaned more into like, because explaining the lore is good, but it shouldn't be one of those movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey where afterwards you're kind of like people are sitting there like debating whether or not they actually fucking told you anything. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they should have had it to the point where they were like, okay, we actually understand why this is tied to the Alien franchise. Like it's not like, like, but they did explain that better in the second movie. I think I forget what that one is, what they called that one.
There's so
But
many now. There's so many.
but they like did kind of explain that in the next movie, like what was going on and everything else, especially with the android and shit and his whole shtick. But like there were moments in that movie that were crazy, but the original Alien movies, those were fucking freaky, dude. They were freaky.
100%.
Like that he
100%. That's
that
that's
yeah.
why do you think Alien Isolation did so well in establishing that like very freaky atmosphere that it had as a game? Because they based it off the first couple movies.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what they were doing.
Yep.
I loved how they tied it in with it being Ridley's daughter, or not Ridley's,
Mm-hmm.
Ridley
Ripley's daughter,
Ridley
yeah.
Scott,
Ripley's,
Ripley's
believe it or not.
Ripley's, believe it or not, it's daughter. Uh, but yeah, like that was
Shout out
amazing.
Sigourney Weaver, you're the goat.
Yeah, like like she did, like that was awesome, and you get to play as her, by the way, in some of the crew expansions. It's pretty
That's
cool.
fucking fire.
Um, and she actually came back and voiced herself and everything, and like, yeah,
That's
yeah,
extra
it's cool.
fire.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool as shit.
Yeah, check
Um,
out that game if you haven't already.
by the way, just throwing this out there real quick, and we can get back to to gloating about the Alien, and I'm gonna tie in the Predator franchise too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
One of my
but
favorites.
I just recently, a couple days ago, the Alien Isolation Facebook page updated their Facebook profile back to the Alien Isolation image with
Oh.
Amanda sitting there,
So are we
Amanda
thinking
Ripley.
sequel?
It's confirmed. It's
Let's
confirmed. Yeah,
go.
yeah, it's
Let's
100% confirmed.
go.
It's in early development. As
Mm-hmm.
you know, what? Hang on, hold that thought,
Yeah.
because they
Holding.
actually
Thoughts
on one
being
of the
held.
posts released a post about hiring for their team, and we
Oh.
all know what project that's probably for. I would imagine, with it being on the Alien Isolation
I mean, yeah, I
page
imagine.
itself. I don't know why they put it on there, and it's for like the new Sonic game or something.
Yeah.
um,
I want to be a voice actor for Tails.
right,
Come
exactly.
on, Sonic, let's go.
That's actually pretty solid right there. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so it said, yeah, no, this is 100% for Alien Isolation, 2 or whatever they're gonna call it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it,
Alien Isolation 2, Electric Boogaloo.
at the end of the game, it showed Ripley floating through space and then a light shining on her, in her suit. So obviously she was found by something, someone, or a different ship, whatever. Maybe it's the
Yeah.
ship she came in. Who knows? Um,
It could
but
be.
this,
Have you ever seen that show? I forget what it's called, but with Steve Carell, where he's like, it's like the Space Force, and like basically there. It's really funny. It's a comedy, but it's about him like being in the Space Force and stuff like that, and them launching
yes, it
like
has
them
one of
launch
my
yeah, and
favorite John Malkovich moments, where they're in the middle of trying to change trajectory on a spacecraft landing, and Microsoft does an update, and he's
yeah,
like, "Fuck
fucking
Microsoft!"
Microsoft. Yeah, fuck. But it's like the scene in that movie, what I picture for the Alien Isolation ending is it's like that scene where they're like looking up through the telescope at their new satellite or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, look at that beautiful satellite up there," and everything else. They're like so gorgeous, and then you see this like massive fucking Chinese satellite float into the screen slowly. and it
Yep.
like gets up next to their satellite, and then like little arms come out of the Chinese satellite and like snip the power cords on the fucking solar panels for their satellite, and then they like pull back and float off, and fucking Steve Carell's just like son of a bitch, like, and it's so fucking funny. So that's just what I see at the end of Alien Isolation. She's like floating in space, like, so this is it. I'm finally gonna die, and then slowly into frame, there's like a Chinese fucking
Just
space
grabs her.
station just floats in, a little arm comes out and grabs her and fucking pulls
She's
her
like,
in.
"Come here, you're
All right,
good."
we got you.
Um,
We got you.
but yeah, yeah. So at the end of that, obviously hinting on a second one, but this was also
Or
on a game that was
imagine this,
11 years
Predators.
ago.
Imagine fucking Predators pulling her into
See,
it.
I was thinking maybe that, but I feel like they're gonna stay keen to the first
Yeah,
couple
they're not gonna
Alien
do. They're
movies. You
not
know,
gonna.
they're
They're
not
not
gonna
gonna
tie
do
that
that
in.
because you
As
can't put
much
Predators in
as
without it
much
being
as
an
I would
action game.
love to see another Alien versus Predator game, because the one that came out in 2010,
One of the best games
fuck,
of
fuck,
all time. One of the best games. That
masterpiece,
Predator versus human
masterpiece.
mode, like the multiplayer mode, where it's like
We should
holy.
play
And we're not
that.
talking. By the
We
way,
should
we're not
play
talking
that.
about Prey, and we're not talking about the Predator game. Which oddly enough, one of my favorite things about the Predator game, while we're talking about
Hunting
Predator,
Grounds. That's what it's
yeah,
called, right?
Predator Hunting Grounds.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
my favorite thing about that game is that it was just before the controversy surrounding him, they released a Doctor Disrespect skin for the Predator.
Yes, yes. And whenever all that came out about
And then the
Mr.
whole him
Doctor
talking to
Disrespect,
fucking kids and stuff like that. Yeah. But then
yeah,
we won't broach into that topic too much,
yeah.
but
That's yeah.
internet
If you
controversy
want
is
to
another
know, you
episode.
can do the research. It's
Well,
there.
not
Trust
only
me.
that, but internet controversy could be a totally different episode on its own. So
100%.
that's a future
100%.
topic. But basically, yes, the Alien versus Predator game. I know the one you're talking about, 2010. Like that game had like the humans versus predators mode was one of the most fun fucking game like
Matter of
gameplay
fact,
you
when
could
I get
possibly do.
my PC back and get Steam, we
Like,
should get
cause you
that
had
and
like
do
they
a
had
Twitch
the
stream of it.
three-way, cause they had the three-way multiplayer, didn't they? Where it's like there were aliens,
You could
humans,
be
and predators.
human, alien, or predator. Yep.
Yeah, and like they all had like different skill sets. Like the predators had like thermal vision and different weapons, and the humans had like
And it
like
was
better armor and
freaky.
like other stuff.
It was
And the alien,
freaky.
well, yeah, because the aliens could straight up actually like run on the walls and ceilings and shit like that. So like
Yep.
when you're running around, like you're a predator. I love to play predator, and so you'd be running around as predator. And fucking like there'd be like a human there, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up, buddy. And then all of a sudden, from around the corner, you see fucking like three
It just gets
aliens
pounced.
crawl around the corner and start like running at you full tilt and like bouncing around like fucking, and
And
you're
you're
like,
over there trying to hop
and
to
you're
different
like, oh
areas, you
dear
know?
God, yeah. And so like that game was amazing, like absolutely amazing. And like, but that's the problem is you can't put predators into a game. You can't without it turning into an action game. Like
And it's hard
it
for
is
it to be
scary. Don't get me
horror.
wrong. It would be scary as fuck if they made like the problem is though is that predators as a movie villain they don't hunt the weak. So they could never have a
Right.
game if they had a game where the concept was like hiding from predators or like running away from predators or anything like that or that kind of thing. The thing is that they wouldn't keep chasing you. Like the way that predators work and the way that their hunting works and
The
everything
only
else.
way they could do it is if you like crash landed on their planet.
Well, no, even
And
then,
you
they
know,
wouldn't. Even then, they'd probably
well, in
just be
that
like,
case, it would be
"There's
more of
no honor in
you're
killing
just
you."
hiding from you because
Yeah,
they could
yeah.
use you for something because you're an
Yeah,
intruder on their planet. They'd still want to try to
they'd
get you
probably
for
want to track
whatever,
you
you
down. Yeah,
know?
but they probably
Yeah.
like, and I mean, they'd probably kill. But I mean, even then, it's like it would be hard to do. You know what I mean? Because
Right, because
like
they're so meticulous, they're so
yeah.
smart in how they
And
hunt. It's
if you don't fight back, there's been a lot of different like a lot of like in all the like in the comic books and the movies and everything else about predators. Like that's the thing is like there have been a lot of instances where even someone who is a combat threat who was like, fuck it, I'm putting my weapon down, I'm done, I give up. The predators were like, well, fuck, this is not fun anymore. And they just turned around and left. And they were like, there's no fun, you know, like
right, right.
this isn't what we do, you know, like they're like we don't murder, we hunt, you know what I mean? And so like, and they don't consider it a hunt if you're weaker than them and you have no chance of defending yourself, like,
Right. They don't it's
and
not you're
so
not worth the
yeah,
challenge.
yeah. So
That's why
but
Prey was such an excellent movie in
oh
explaining
my
that.
God, well, Prey was incredible because once
Did you
again,
see Killer of Killers yet?
I have not yet, but it's on my list.
It's
It's on my
amazing.
list. It's gonna be
Amazing.
watched. But the cool
Twist
thing
at the end,
about
by the way.
oh dope. But the cool thing about Prey is that once again, shout out to them for making an original fucking badass like female main character first and foremost because the Alien movies and Predator movies like Predators has always been more on the macho man side of things, whereas the Alien franchise has leaned more into like the badass women like kind of situation. Like women are just as capable as dudes at being a
Ripley.
badass
Yep.
action hero. Like it was one of the originals, right? It inspired like Samus Aran and like a bunch of other really badass female like badass leads. And so like and they're not just gender flipping, like they created an original character who in that movie was fucking incredible. She was more terrifying in my opinion than the Predator. Like the way that her character played in that movie, like and the way how capable that character was in that
I don't
movie,
know. That Predator
it was scary.
single-handedly took
Oh
down a
yeah.
grizzly.
Well,
I
the
don't know about
primal,
that.
yeah. Well, the primal, yeah, because it was that primal
It's
fucking
that
that primal
primal
predator.
Predator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was
it was
fucking
different.
it was and it was amazing too. Like that movie was really and it did a great job again of making the predator scary. You know what I mean? Because like it was like
Yeah, they did. They finally made it creepy again.
because it was
Versus
kind of a
like
fair fight, you know?
they didn't have to make him a fucking giant like
I
they did in
know,
that
I
one
know.
Predator.
Well, and like
That
yeah.
movie was horrible. That movie
No,
was
I know.
so
I know.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad. 2018, by the way, 2018 Predator movie. It's called The Predator. It
Yeah.
was horrible. Absolutely horrible. They tried to tie in that predators had human DNA, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no,
Yeah,
they don't.
we're not
They
talking
do
about the
not.
Alien Brody or Adrian. We're not talking about the Adrian Brody one.
No, that one was
We're talking
actually
about
not
yeah,
halfway
which
bad.
was
I
good,
enjoyed that movie.
which was
I like that movie.
a lot of people hate
Um,
that movie, and but to them, I say it was fucking entertaining.
it really was.
It was
I enjoyed it.
fucking entertaining. Like and the fact like the only thing I was like that's this is fucking stupid was the fact that they're all like we're badass killers, we're badass killers. I'm a badass killer. He's a badass killer. That's a badass killer. And then Topher Grace's character was just like I'm just a dude. I need
And
an encounter. Ooh. And nobody
nobody
was like, bro,
questioned it.
we don't believe you. Like, why would
Yeah,
you be like that? Doesn't like we're tying the red string
I
around
did
it.
they
We're
make a mistake here.
like,
Like
but
that's
but at the same time, I love Topher Grace, and he did really play the skeevy fucking like serial killer character very
really well,
well.
actually.
Like he
Yeah.
played it really well. Like you know what I mean? Like, and it's like the whole like him being like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm just a doctor. Like he played it up really well until he like flipped and was like, and like you know stuff like that. Like, but that movie was dope. Like the fights in that movie were dope. The planning that they had, like the fucking like the process that the predators used to take out
And
the
their
humans.
ultimate predator, if you will, though,
Yeah,
like I think they called it, wasn't
yeah, the alpha or whatever, the
Berserker
berserker.
Predator.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one wasn't too far fetched. You know what I
No,
mean? Like it
it was
wasn't
just a
like
jacked up predator. It
yeah.
was
And
like you know, like
I was like, I'm okay with that. And there's actually
yeah,
lore behind all those predators. They were actually
there
outcasts
is.
because they killed not just for for like hunting the best killer. They just killed to kill, and
Hmm.
that was a problem. And the Yaoji did not like that
No,
at
and that's
all.
the cool thing
So
about the movies too is a lot of like it's like they have a lot of lore for being dumb action movies. You know
I'm
what I
telling
mean?
you, you're gonna love Killer of Killers. It's something
Yeah,
different.
like I'm
It's
excited to
different. I
yeah.
like it.
Like I'm
I
excited to check it out because it's like again, it's they have a lot of lore for a dumb action movie. And it's you know, it's not dumb. And it's like it's Killer of Killers is on the list. And if you buds have seen that movie or seen that show, no spoilers down below. Just say you've seen it. Just comment down below that you've seen it.
it's awesome. It's awesome. Like that's it, I love I love the movie really tackled like really getting because it's the same guy. The guy who made this one is the same guy who directed Prey. So
Hmm.
already because apparently
He did
Disney
his
is liking
research.
this guy.
He
Disney
did
is
his
liking this
research.
guy. And I like him too.
Yep.
And a lot of people are already highly criticizing this
And it's
new Predator
animated
movie
as well,
coming
isn't
out.
it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I
Um,
saw some of the screenshots of the animation style. It's
cool.
incredible.
It's awesome.
So
Yeah,
cool.
it's different. I like it.
Yeah,
It's
so
really
well
cool.
done. Well,
It's
the
that
cell
like
shaded look is dope. That cell
yes, yeah, I
shaded
love that. It's
fucking dope.
perfect for that dark eerie tone that they're going for in it
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm. It gives very
And
heavy comic book, graphic novel vibes.
that new Predator movie coming out, what Predator oh man, what's this new one called? Brain fart. I would know it any other time except for when we're
Isn't it
recording a podcast.
doesn't it take place like closer to World War II or World War One or something like that?
Badlands. Okay, yeah, Badlands.
Badlands.
Predator Badlands, the
Yeah, it's
new one
World
that's
War
coming
One.
out.
Yeah, it
The
takes
new
place
one.
near World War One, doesn't it?
No, I don't think so. So this
No?
one, Predator
Thought it did.
Badlands, um, is something that I think takes place on the Predator world, like the Predator planet.
Okay.
Um, and a lot of people are criticizing it because of how this certain particular predator looked, because it didn't look like a typical predator. And honestly, I get where people are criticizing it because they're, people don't like change, they don't like different, and
Yeah.
this one looks different.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, there's a whole like Wikipedia page about all the different types of predators.
predators, and yeah, exactly,
They've got like a whole
and that's
caste system, like
right, yeah, like, and it's different, like, and I even suggested, I was like, maybe it's a like a teenage one, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, like maybe it's very young,
Well, the one from
um,
Prey was like a young that was like
like a young adult.
predator, and it was
Yep,
like it was one of his first hunts or whatever. Like, and that's why they dropped him with
on
none of the
Earth.
high-tech gear. Like
Yep,
that's what it was, is he got dropped. He didn't have any of the high-tech gear. He didn't get the fucking shoulder-mounted lasers. He got a few things like the net and like the spikes and the spear and
yep.
stuff like that. But he didn't go into it with like the shoulder-mounted guns with the full face helmet with the fucking crazy armor plates and everything like that
And he tried to
because
go
he
brute force every time he first attacked too.
well, it's because he had to, because he didn't. He literally had no, like, he was literally like, it was to prove himself to the other predators. You know what I mean? So the other predators were like watching what happened and everything else. And he was like, that's why he was like jumping on grizzlies and taking them out with his bare hands. You know
See,
what I
my
mean?
my
Like,
my thought process was behind it is in because it we haven't got any confirmation on it yet in terms of the
yeah.
lore of that predator. Um, but I'm thinking it was because a lot of the predators don't do just brute force right off the bat like that, even with the
No,
limited
they'll hunt and
technology.
stalk. Yeah.
Right, they'll stalk for a minute. And he does a little bit, but he almost prematurely goes in. And you notice every time he
Yeah.
fights a new animal, he gets injured somehow in some little
Yeah.
way. He
It's
gets
because
hurt.
he's young and impulsive and stupid.
Right, and I think that's why they sent him to Earth, because it was a challenging planet. There was
Hmm.
many species on here that were actually quite dangerous, because
Oh, yeah.
we've definitely come to find out that even though we're looked at as like almost ants in that universe, we're still known as like, even in our world, ants are something in
We're a
numbers very
species
powerful.
yeah. Well, it's in their eyes, in the eyes of the Oucho, we're a species that survived on a planet of things that are trying to constantly kill us. Like
Yes.
we've managed to go from being like mindless apes to mindless apes with sharp sticks to mindless apes with guns
Yep.
very quickly, and like that's frankly impressive to them, and it means that, and because
It's almost threatening to them.
yeah, and they look at things in like terms of like the same way that a nature would have it, like sharks are apex predators, bears are apex predators. Like there's nothing that eats them. And on our planet, if they looked at our planet, they would say nothing eats human. I mean, things do eat humans. If you get in the water with a hippo, you're fucking gone. And the funny thing is they're not omnivorous. They're herbivores. They don't eat meat.
Yeah, they're just
They'll
aggressive.
kill you because they fucking hate you.
Yep.
Like the hippo. So that man, horror movie featuring a hippo. That's what we need to do. Horror movie featuring a hippo. I'm
I
sure
have
there
not
has.
seen a Far Cry game utilize that yet.
I'm sure that there has been a horror movie. If you buds at home, if any of you homies at home know of any horror movies featuring a hippo, comment that down below because I am thoroughly interested in finding out if there are, and if there are, I will watch it. But
100%. And
but
and
with the
and
oh, go
before
ahead.
I go too far ahead, because
Yep.
I realized I didn't finish
Yeah.
what Alien Isolation guys were posted.
Yes.
Um, so it says on their website, our survival team is hiring. So we know what the hell that means. They're already, obviously talking about that, and it's still by
Yep.
Sega Games, by the way. So
Let's go.
it's gonna be funded very well.
There you
Um,
go.
so they're hiring. Looks like a whole new fucking set of team. Like it's cinematics producer, lead principal animation programmer, lead AI programmer, lead animator, lead lighting artist, lead technical animator, principal level designer, senior principal VFX artist, senior audio QA technician, senior development manager, senior environmental artist, sound designer. So they are going down the board. They're
Man, I'll do
looking.
I'm gonna fucking apply for that environmental artist sound designer one, and I'm
I'll be
literally
this.
just
I'll be like an Axel character from the
like,
first game. You
all I
remember
was gonna
Axel?
say is like the entire like because it'll be ambient, like all the background like sound effects and that kind of thing and everything, and like literally all I'll do is I'll just get some chains and I'll like drag those along the floor for a minute, and then I'll
Perfect.
just be like uh,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
into my microphone, and that's it. And then I'll just send them that raw audio file and be like, there you go, guys. And then the entire game for like it'll be a 30-second loop of chains dragging with me going.
Dude,
And
dude,
every
they'll be
now
like,
and
dude,
then that really
we gave
loud
you a
bar
million
clang
dollar
sound
budget. What
effect.
happened?
Like, and every now and then a really loud, like what that fucking meme bar clanging or whatever, like the really loud metal pipe falling sound effect, just fucking clang, 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 just cutting through everything, and
Yep,
like,
yep, yep.
and it'll just be like a 45 second to like 30 to 45 second loop of just that constantly on
I'm
repeat
down.
for the entire length of the game, and like and like just
And this is
nothing
why you
else,
are lead sound designer for
and it's like
Chronic Total Games.
that's
Any
right,
future production, you know,
that's
it's gonna
right.
be where
Like we're gonna
me
do a
and Shank have
game,
actually
yeah.
talked about that. Not to get too off
Yeah,
topic, but we've talked about
yeah,
putting
no,
something
it's
together.
true. Well, we may make a horror game, you never even know. But when but like when we make it, can you imagine if rather than making sound effects or like hiring a Foley artist or anything like that, we literally just record with our voice all of the sound effects. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna do the footsteps. Like, all right,
And then
now we
like the
need them on
worst
a
part of
hardwood.
it's gonna be the actual voice acting.
It's like now we need them on a hardwood floor. Clack, 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 clack,
Yep,
clack,
yep.
clack.
Click, 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 click,
Clack,
click,
clack,
click,
clack, clack. It's just like fucking, it's just like,
click,
okay, we
clack.
gotta, it's like, okay, now we need the door opening sound effect. And just like we do the entire fucking game just with our voices. The music in the background is just us like dum 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 dum
The,
dum
the
dum
the
dum
the
dum.
fucked up part is it'll be all like amazing photorealistic graphics on
Oh
Unreal
yeah, like
Engine.
Hyper 4K Unreal Engine 5. Like you can see the pores and you can
Yeah.
see like the sweat forming and everything like super good.
And
It's
we'll
like
literally title it
zooms in
"Sound
on
is Everything."
like zooms in on the sweat running down the character's face and then it falls and like goes to the ground and it's like
Yeah, yeah. What we're gonna title it "Sound is
yeah,
Everything" for
sound is
everything in the game.
everything. Sound is everything. A Chronic and Shank Friday conversation for podcast for winners and really cool people video game.
You're gonna love this one, guys.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. But we are
But
straying a little bit off topic.
yes.
Back on to horror. Another thing is now in the horror genre, there are horror games. We kind of loosely touched on, uh, like we touched on the fact that, you know, you play The Forest a lot, and we've talked about it a little bit in the past on our video game episode.
Oh,
If you
absolutely.
haven't listened to that episode yet, go listen to it now. We'll wait. Okay, welcome back. Thank you. That was awesome. So now when it comes to horror video games, there are some out there that are really, really good. Like, I know that there's one I couldn't finish, Outlast. Couldn't finish it. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I was
Why
like
not?
playing it. I was playing it in the dark. I was swarming around. I was walking around. I'm like, yeah, this is dope. This is freaky as shit. And I went into a room and there was a dude on a spike and he was all like, I'm not dead. And I was like, okay, that's fucking terrifying. All right, cool. And then I kind of got my groove back. And then some giant motherfucker grabbed me and threw me through a window.
Little piggy.
And I'm like, bro, okay, okay. So I
Okay,
kind
listen.
of,
You know
so
what? No, stop right there.
yeah.
Everybody, listen to this. Go down in the comment section and say Shank has to play. Now he has to play Outlast on stream
All right.
all the way through.
If you guys comment down below, I will do that. I will either do it in one stream where I play the entire game, or I will do a series of streams where I get through the entire game. But
I
you got
think
to comment it down below, or it's not gonna fucking happen because I will not voluntarily do it unless somebody wants me to do it really
he
badly.
has to do it. He has to do
You
it.
need to want it bad enough to comment down below. Um, But one that I did finish that was frankly it had one of my favorite kinds of horror in it, which we haven't talked about at all yet in this episode, which is Lovecraftian horror, also known as cosmic horror, because Lovecraft was a racist. He was a bit of a racist. So we don't really like Lovecraft as a person, but his stories created an insane genre of horror known as cosmic horror. Like the kind of horror where it's something that's substantially bigger than you that you can't possibly comprehend or understand, and it in some way like even trying to comprehend it would warp your mind and like completely like make you go crazy just because it's
Right.
like the older gods and stuff like that. Cthulhu is the most popular of his
Yep.
creations.
Yep.
But the game that I like is called Still Wakes the Deep. And Still Wakes the Deep
Ooh.
is about a guy on an oil rig, and he's there because he fucked up back home. He did something stupid and got into a fight with somebody and hurt them pretty bad. And before he could get charged by the police, he left and went to go work on an oil rig. And he ends up getting caught and fired from the oil rig. But as he's about to leave, shit hits the fan, and everything gets crazy. Like, and the whole rest of the game is basically about you as that character trying your damnedest to survive this really obscenely crazy situation you found yourself in. And it's an incredible game. It's one of the most emotional games I've ever played. Like, the story is incredible, the characters are incredible. The horror is like legitimately scary. It's like got a lot of really terrifying aspects to it, and it's a cosmic horror. It's like one of those things where you don't understand why things are happening or how things are happening, and done in a way that the creature that you're hiding from or the creature that you're running from is something that you just can't understand. Not that like you can like you can't if you even try, you're never gonna figure it out. You know what I mean?
Right, right. So okay, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that okay. So like, would you consider? Maybe not. Maybe not. I was gonna say, would you consider like Amnesia kind of in that realm? But that's not like. I mean, kind of
In a way,
there,
yeah,
but
yeah. In a way, actually, in a way, even Outlast realistically, because I have watched some information, like some of the story and stuff, because it's an interesting concept and that kind of thing. Like even those like where there's like the spirit rider and shit like that, and there's like this other like otherworldly like altered dimension, like style thing. That is like a cosmic horror because it's something that it doesn't make sense, and if you try to make sense of it, it makes even less sense.
right.
So it's
Okay,
like,
I see what you're
so
saying.
yeah, so it's one of those things where like you're like, okay, so there's this like alien creature that just like came up. Like what is it? It's like, well, it has like 8 billion different types of DNA and like no DNA at the same time. And like it's spreading with thought, like or another great example of a cosmic horror, one of again an amazing movie, is fucking oh shit. What is it called? It's the one with I think Natalie Portman's in it. Um, Annihilation. Haha. Ah, it's called Annihilation. That's another one.
Annihilation.
Annihilation. That is another one. That is a crazy cosmic horror because you just can't understand like why things are happening or how things are happening, and they're like we can, and even the humans in the stories typically are like we can't explain this with science, like, and it's not magic because magic doesn't exist, but we can't explain it with science. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's paranormal, but in a way that it feels natural. Like it feels like a force of the universe, like something in the universe that's just like the color purple, or not the color purple, a color from outer space, the one with Nicolas Cage, like those kind of movies where you're like, what the fuck? Like it doesn't make
Right,
sense.
right.
And Still Wakes
Yep.
the Deep was that kind of game. And it was so good that I literally just could not stop playing it. I ended up, like I said, check my YouTube channel out. I have a playthrough of the full game on there of me playing the full game. But it's like one of those games I could not put down, and a sequel for it recently came out. And
Ooh.
regardless of whether you buds comment down below, whether any of you get in the comment section down below, it doesn't matter. I'm playing through it. I'll be playing. I will be playing. It's called Siren's Rest. It's very popular right now on YouTube, but I don't really care whether it's popular or not. I'm going to be playing it because the game itself was one of the best games of all time, and it was the first horror game, like strictly horror game, because it is fucking scary, that I could not stop playing. Like I couldn't. Outlast, I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel bad at all. I think last Amnesia I played was The Bunker. Played Amnesia The
That was
Bunker.
a good one. That was a good one.
Scary as hell, but it was good. It was good. I never got too far into it, not because I got scared out like Outlast scared me out. Like Outlast was like, okay, I'm done. This is fucking freaky. Like I cannot I'm on edge the whole time. I can't do it
Could you
anymore.
do me a favor? Could you do me an early birthday present?
What's that?
So I'll work with you. I won't use Outlast as my requested game for you to play through, but you should play through Alien Isolation.
I can probably do that. I can probably do that.
I think you should do that one.
Yeah.
I think you should
I
do that
think
one.
I think I could do that one because well, first and foremost, I mean, I like the concept of Alien Isolation as a game. Like I think it's really cool looking, and especially I know I heard that it sucked early on because the AI was kind of broken, but they fixed that.
They fixed it pretty
So if
quickly,
there's
yeah.
anybody out there who's gonna comment down below, oh, you mentioned Alien Isolation. That game sucks. The AI is broken. Stop parroting things. Go look. They fixed it. They
Yeah,
fixed it.
it's
It's
been
better
fixed for a
now.
little while.
It's been fixed for a while. It's better now. Like we know it was broken. That's like the people that say No Man's Sky sucks because it when it came
Let
out it
me
was broken.
right, right. Let me remind people how far behind they are on that. So they fixed their AI the first year the game came out. The
Yeah.
game's been out for 11 years.
Yeah. They fixed that. It was broken at launch. Nobody's denying that. But
Like
they
most games
fixed it.
were in the 2010s.
Yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky came out and that game was broken as hell. They didn't have like any of the things they promised in it. They didn't have any of the like, and the systems themselves were boring and broken. And like
Hmm.
they've made that game better than what they initially promised it would be now through patches. But there are
Yep.
still people out there that are like, man, that game sucks. That game is broken. It sucks. The game sucks.
It's horrible.
It makes me feel better to hate video games. But like that's one of the horror ones I liked was Still Wakes the Deep when it comes to horror
Right.
games.
Yeah.
Because it had a really, really good balance of like sentimentality, like the story was beautiful. If you don't feel like playing it, watch my playthrough on YouTube. Like I don't add much commentary and stuff like that. I do react to the game a little bit here and there, but it's not like I don't make jokes out of it. Like it
Right.
was,
You don't go
yeah,
through it and consistently talk. Yeah.
like I was genuinely engaged and like involved in the game. So like check it out on YouTube. Really, really good. I might put a link down below if I find a link to it, or if I'm feeling unlazy when I post this. But probably not gonna happen. You can find it though. But that game was just like the story and everything else about it was really engaging and like it was like tragic and like exciting and scary and like enraging, but not like the kind of enraging that Elden Ring is, where you die every 5 minutes. Like it was like more enraging, as in like how could this happen to this character, like that kind of thing. Like holy, like,
Right.
and it's amazing. It's genuinely like it made me feel things for the first time in a long time with video games. Like normally I just kind of make jokes out of games.
Yeah.
Um, but it genuinely pulled me into the story and made me feel something. And the sequel, the DLC sequel, Siren's Rest, is apparently it does the same thing. I have very carefully avoided all spoilers. I've seen it pop up on my YouTube recommended because a lot of the YouTubers that I love have been playing it, and it pops up saying, "Oh, the new Still Wakes the Deep, Siren's Rest. Watch my playthrough," and a bunch of them, and I fucking ignored every one of them. I've not clicked on a single fucking one because I do not want a single spoiler going into it. Like, because that's how I played Still Wakes the Deep. I didn't have a single spoiler going into it, and I want that to be the same thing for Siren's Rest because horror games are just way better when there's no spoilers. Like, I feel like I could probably play Outlast now because I have spoilers. You know what I mean? Like, I know kind of
Right.
what's gonna happen. Like, and I know like I'm still gonna get jump scared because I'm a little wuss. But
Oh, you're
but
gonna have fun.
like
You're gonna have fun, buddy.
I'm still gonna have jump scares. Same with Alien Isolation. When I play that, I'm gonna have jump scares and shit. But like I kind of roughly know what's going on, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I'd like to touch more on one of your favorite horrors, which is a survival horror.
Yes.
Survival horror,
Yes.
because the
Yes.
the Forest is one we both enjoyed together. Sons of the
Very
Forest
much
is
so.
one we're going to enjoy together, and
Oh, absolutely.
all of you people that are listening right now or watching on YouTube right now, we are at some point in the future, very near, very dear, we're going to be playing Sons of the Forest and the Forest. We should probably do one full playthrough of the Forest, I think. Like we won't do the whole base building thing for like days and days on end. We'll like just kind of play the game, like
Right.
speedrun-ish the game story, and we'll beat it one time on stream for all of the fans and friends at home and all of those winners and really cool people. And then once we
What it
beat the
do?
first one, we'll we'll play Sons of the Forest, and on Sons of the Forest, I think we can take our sweet time. We'll take our time. We'll hurry up. We'll kill some cannibals and steal their cups.
They got the
Uh,
cups that we need to have.
but
But yeah, no, that's
yeah.
the Sons of the Forest franchise is absolutely, or the Forest franchise rather,
Hmm.
absolutely phenomenal in terms of a horror aspect to it. They know what they're doing. They know that like it's a horror game, but they also know it's a survival game, so they have to find that balance. And I think that they found that balance absolutely perfectly.
Hmm.
They know where the horror needs to really be cranked up, which it's just kind of like a no-brainer. Like a cave
Yeah,
exploration. It's
yeah.
creepy, it's dark, it's eerie, it's cold in there.
And you always
Um,
feel disadvantaged. Like
yes,
they never make you feel like OP.
yes, yeah. You never have a moment where you're like, oh, I could take out like. Don't get me wrong. There's a certain point, like once you get more used to the game and you understand that like you have
And
a
you get the
spear, go
upgraded
for the
axe from
head,
that. Yeah,
and
you get the upgraded
yeah.
axe from that one cave.
And then the katana makes a huge difference too.
Yeah,
But even then, you still got to be cautious and weary about how you approach your attacks. And you don't want to
yeah,
go into a cannibal camp and just swing on one because it attacked you and ran back there,
yeah,
because now you're going to have like 10 of them on you.
yeah.
And there's different tiers to how
And
powerful
in
they
the
are too.
caves, you're always like, it's oppressive. They've done a really
Yes.
good job with making it feel oppressive, you know?
And I know that you haven't really had a chance to dive into the caves, no pun intended,
Hmm.
um, for
Only
the
the
Sons of
first
the
one.
Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't seen Sons of the Forest caves yet.
No.
And
I haven't played it. I literally got that game and your computer had to go bye-bye for
you know,
undisclosed reasons. Unfortunately, the computer went bye-bye. And
rest in
basically,
peace.
rest in peace. And when like I literally had gotten that game so we could play together, and then you're like, yeah, my computer's fucked, so like fucking cross that off right now. And I was like, I am not going to. And I've said at that moment,
And he
I'm
still
going to
he
keep
still
this
has lived
game.
up to
I
this.
said I'm going to keep this game installed. I am not going to delete it off of my hard drive. I'm going to keep the game installed. I'm going to keep it in my library, and I'm going to have it so that the second that you get the computer back, we are able to get on that game, immediately play that game. And it is right here. I'm looking at it right now on my Steam list, right there. Sons of the Forest, currently
You
installed.
you got to send me a screenshot of that so I can put it up on the screen.
Yeah, currently installed. And yeah, I'll take a screenshot after and send it to you. But and it's like Sons of the Forest still currently installed on my machine. I never delete. It's not a big game anyway, but I never deleted it specifically so that the moment that Chronic is like, I got my computer back up and running, boys, let's go. I'm gonna be on that game like me on a cupcake,
Like flies on pie.
like flies on fire, like me on a doobie. Like it's gonna
Yes.
be like I'm gonna be on it like me on a doobie. And
Yes.
so, like, yeah, Sons of the Forest. I haven't gotten to explore the caves much in that, but the first one they nailed the cave ambience. You know, the scariness,
Yep.
and the body horror of the enemies with the 1,000 arms and 16 legs, and like
The
I'm not sure if that's a
babies.
mouth, and the babies that just do like in the forest, the babies that just do random front flips at you, like those flipping
Yes.
dog toys. You know, I
Listen,
was like, arf,
and
arf,
Sons of the
arf, arf,
Forest,
arf.
guess what?
What?
They actually crawl at you.
No, no. So it's like babies. It's like baby zombies from Minecraft.
Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, that's all right. Do they have a kicking animation in Sons of the Forest?
I can't even remember. It's been so long since I've played that.
Kick
But
the baby.
me and Propane. Anybody who watched the Sons of the Forest streams back then, shout out to Propane.
Propane.
Um, we had a pretty freaking cool base going on. We had like a whole zip line
I
entourage
remember
going
seeing
down,
that.
and
I watched some of your
it's
streams. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. It was pretty. It's still there. So eventually we'll go back, and honestly, we'll probably have we have a section still dug out and built for you,
Yeah. Oh
waiting to be
yeah.
like,
Oh
yeah, we
yeah.
still like you and Slate, actually. We had it big enough to have two more cabins built,
Yes,
and
sir.
and because it was a whole
I'm
little
like,
fortress. It was awesome.
oh, it's dope as fuck, dude. But and we will definitely be doing streams of that in the future when we get your computer back. Like, because it's like just one of those games that like we'll have and that's the cool thing is you can make that as quick as you want by speed running through the story and everything else or something like that. Or you can just take your sweet fucking time and like just explore and like have fun and build a cool base and like do it, you know?
Right, and I think that's the key difference between those two games, and because they both have the great horror aspect to them. You
Yeah.
could argue Sons of the Forest has a little bit more just because of the graphical output that
Mm-hmm.
game has, and it just
Mm-hmm.
makes it the immersiveness a little bit more real. You
Yeah.
know,
And they knew it
um,
worked with the first game.
right,
So, you know,
exactly.
like yeah.
So and they just like they literally took the first game and said, okay, let's inject it with like all the steroids we can get and see what happens. And that's pretty
Yeah.
much what the product of that game is. And they did a fantastic job with that. But the thing that really separates those two games, and not to ramble on too much about the
No,
franchise,
please
but
do. Please do. I
um,
like it.
It's a it- this, and you'll see this, the the joy of crafting in that game, building with like having to split the logs, split them into quarters, halves, split them in literally in half, making firewood, like you like even there,
They really
man,
nailed the crafting system in the second game.
everything that is like a pre-built blueprint that you can like how you do in the first game, how it like gives you like an outline of it and you just fill it up with the
Yep.
materials that it requires.
Yeah, same as like in Grounded or whatever. It'll like be like, oh,
Right,
this
right.
is the thing. Throw sticks at it and throw leaves at
Exactly,
it and throw
exactly.
rocks at it.
So they still have that option, but the best part is everything that's blueprinted, you can build without the blueprint.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
everything can get connected. You can break the sticks into like put them in the ground, build a fence like that. You can put the posts in the ground,
yeah.
chop the little tops off of it so they're spiked.
Well, like
Like
the blueprints are like the coloring book, and you can like you can still have a really cool picture after the coloring book, but if you can draw, you can also draw, and you can draw the same
that's
things that are
exactly
in the
that's a
coloring book.
fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
And it honestly, that kind of game, there's people that turn off, like make it peaceful pretty much, turn
Mm-hmm.
off the mobs and everything and just
Yep.
build. And I can't blame them. I can't blame them at all.
No.
It's one of those games like Minecraft where you can just get on and just build whatever the hell you can. It's Minecraft, but with logs, not
Yep.
squares. You
Yep.
know,
And it's that's how I kind of feel about the game Valheim as well with the building system is
mhm.
that it's like it's got one of those building systems that the building system in itself is so satisfying that that could be its own game.
Right, 100%.
Like they literally could have made a game like the forest, and they could have like been like they could have called it the forest and had it be no cannibals, no nothing. Your job is to search around and find tools around the map. That's what you explore for.
Yep,
You find the tools in all of these hard to reach puzzle type caves, and then you harvest rocks and like mine rocks and mine tree like harvest trees and
yep.
get berries or whatever and just build a base and like hunt like you could have peaceful fucking animals on the island,
I
with
promise
like
you, I
like
promise you that because of what and Night Games did with that crafting system in Sons of the Forest, you're going to see very soon when they figure it out. Many survival games, whether it be the style that you were just talking about,
oh
where it's just
yeah.
more peaceful, more like how End Night did it, where it's a little bit more horror twist, whatever the case may be, or even first-person shooters that implement that kind of crafting
Yeah,
system. Um,
that'd be wild.
yeah,
That'd be
there's something to
wild.
be talked about there,
That'd
but
be fucking wild.
like because of that game, you're gonna see a different style of crafting in other games and building. I'm telling you,
Yeah, oh
it's
no doubt, no doubt.
revolutionary. It's different. And if you don't believe me, go play the game yourself. Go watch the trailer for the game. That's whenever like I remember watching the trailer and I was like, oh, that's cool. This is a cinematic trailer. And then it was like what you just watched was raw footage. And
Yeah, it was all gameplay. You're like that was all gameplay and you're like
I was like, no way.
I know,
No
fucking
way.
blew my mind, man. Blew my mind. But like yeah, I think those kind of games like are like because they do the horror aspect really, really well. They basically they manage to pull out the like just like the constantly never being able to relax. You know what I mean? Like you can't kick back, put your feet up, and you can't kick back and put your feet up or anything like that at any point. You kind of have to like constantly look around and you'll hear noises in the forest and shit and be like, "Oh fuck, what was that?"
Right, and that goes
And
right into my favorite style of horror, which is thriller.
yeah,
It's very like you're on edge. I'm adrenaline junkie when it comes to being like afraid. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's
So one of your favorite movies, I would assume, is The Strangers.
that's not a bad movie actually.
Because that
That's
movie was fucking scary and
yes,
like unexpected and like one of those things where you feel on edge the entire time. Like,
yes,
like it's like the
yes,
characters on screen and the characters looking towards us in the audience, like the main like victim, we'll call them victim,
right,
is in frame, like looking our direction generally towards like frame and towards the screen. And in the background, you just see, and he's not moving, and he's been there from the beginning of the shot, but one of the fucking killers is just standing there motionless, just like looking at victim from across the room. They don't see it. We see it. And then and then just before victim turns around to look in that general direction, the killer just casually turns and walks around the corner so they're in a spot where they can't be seen. And it's like, and we as an audience saw that. We're on edge. Like we're like, holy fuck, these guys are getting like this person's in
Right.
fucking imminent danger.
Right.
And that thrill, that's what I like about thrillers, is that imminent, oh fuck, like
Yep.
something could happen any moment. Like, like is it gonna be
And that's
now?
amazing.
And it's like jump scares, man. I hate being jump scared. I fucking hate being but I understand why it's one of the most popular forms of scares, you
Yep.
know?
Because it's. I mean,
'Cause
it
it
gets most
works.
people.
Yeah. Like when Mike Myers pops out of a fucking closet.
You're like, hello.
Yeah, that's scary as shit. He's like, yeah, baby.
He's like, yeah, groovy, baby.
Groovy, baby. Yeah, so sorry, wrong movie. Yen, yen, yen. Fucking-
You're starting to
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. But yeah, thrillers are like I think really they're a great form of movie. They're one of those ones that just it's scary, it's horrifying, and I think that there are definitely games we haven't mentioned yet, like the Dark Pictures anthologies, as well
Oh, there,
as
we could make a whole separate podcast just based off of horror.
oh, absolutely. So
It's
we if
it's
you guys at home are interested, or you friends and you winners and really cool people at home, if you are interested in hearing more about horror games and you have any suggestions for games that we didn't cover or anything like that, please comment it down below. Let us know because if we missed it, like we're interested in hearing from you about, if
oh,
we didn't mention your
absolutely.
favorite game, if there's like a $1 game on Steam that was really scary and we didn't mention like that Queso Attacks game or whatever, like like if whatever it is,
Excuse me.
if you have suggestions, comment down below because we are interested in hearing from you about what you find scary, because what we've mentioned, we didn't mention the exhaustive list, just a
No,
few
we're
things
just
today.
chatting it up. We're just
A
chatting
few
it up.
things today. And obviously, horror is a very broad topic, so we will have horror episodes more in the future. Like, I think we'll probably pick out some of our favorite ghosts or some shit like that. Who knows for our Halloween episode? But we're always open for suggestions. We're always open for ideas. So if you do want to let us know any ideas you may have or any opinions you may have about the things we talked about today, if you're like, The Conjuring sucks, like, hit us up down below. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we want to know. It's very important. But it does look like we are running out of time for today's episode. It's been a good one.
Boo!
I know it sucks. I always want to hang around for hours with the buds, but the good news is we will be back next week with another exciting episode of the podcast. And we hope that you tune in for that one. And if you haven't checked out our previous episodes, like I said earlier in the show, go back, check them out. We'll wait. Okay, did you watch all of them? What do you do? No, you skipped episode 2. Go back. See, now that's what that one was one of my favorite ones. Thank you for going back. I think I might insert the full episodes there.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go.
All right. Talk to you later, buds. So that's it for today's episode. Share your opinions on the topic in the comment section down below so we know how you feel about things, or maybe suggest some, future topics or ideas in the episodes in the future.
Also, you can check out our social media on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and more in the description below.
If you're watching or listening on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe because it helps us fight those algorithm overlords.
Thank you all for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you next time on the Chronic and Shang Variety Conversation podcast.
For winners and really cool people.